So in our most recent video, in step 1 of financial freedom, we talked about why it's important to go in and say, what is financial freedom to you? And then to identify, why do you want to achieve financial freedom? Today in this video, step 2 to financial freedom, we're going to talk about taking some practical steps toward financial freedom. Number 1, we're going to talk about organizing your finances. Then we're going to take a look at your debt picture, and we're going to talk about net worth. So come on inside and let's get down to the business. Now, I believe when we're serious about financial freedom, we have to be methodical and intentional about what it is that we're doing. So when we're talking about financial freedom, I think one of the best things to first do is to get organized in your finances. Have you ever been in someone's car and you go into that person's car and stuff is everywhere? They have bills and they have mail that's all in the car. Everything is everywhere. There's no organization at all. Have you ever seen that type of person? Well, very likely that person's finances are the same way. Because if their car is junky and out of sorts, then it's very likely their finances will look exactly the same. And how would I know? Because there was a time in my life where my house was cluttered, my car was cluttered, and yes, my finances were even more cluttered. So now, what is financial organization? For me, it's organizing my finances so that I can see everything in one place. No matter how good things are going or how bad things are going, I can see all of my finances in one place. The way that I do that is through an app called Mint. And it is an exceptional financial app, in my opinion, because what it shows me is my cash on hand. It shows me the credit cards and the balance on those credit cards, my investments. It shows the property that I have and the loans that I have on that property. So it gives me a complete picture of my finances. So at any time, I can take a look at this app and I can know exactly what's going on in my finances. Let me give you an example. Because I look at this app relatively often, probably 5, 6, 7 times a day sometimes, I find a lot of new features that it has. And I found about 2 months ago that it had a feature where it showed the exact amount of interest that I was paying on my credit cards over a 3-month period. And it showed me that I was paying $900 on those credit cards. Now, how I justified that is the biggest of those credit cards was a business credit card. And you say, oh, that's the business credit card. That's not my credit card, so to speak. At the end of the day, if it's the business, it's mine. If it's mine, it's the business. Just how that goes. So I couldn't just say, oh, it's the business. It was my credit card. And I'm paying $900 every 3 months on those credit cards. So when I saw that, it was like a jolt. I'm like, whoa. Now, how can I be serious about being financially free? And I'm paying $900 every 3 months on a credit card. No. So when I saw that, I said, okay, now I can change it. But if you never see that, if you never see the picture, then you don't know what you need to do in order to clear it up, in order to correct it. So I like having this app. The app, again, is called Mint, and it is going to give you your entire picture in one place, and you can look at it, and then you can make adjustments based on what you see. And I almost forgot, one of the things that I like best about this app is I get to see my net worth all day, every day. It's right in front of me, along with all the rest of my numbers, my statistics. The most important numbers to me are in front of me at all times. I think that is so important because when you see those numbers, then you can say, oh, okay, I need to adjust a little bit here to make this number go up. It's all about being able to see it. And this app is a game changer where that's concerned. All right, now that we have the organization out of the way and we can see our financial picture, the next thing that we have to do is to take a look at our overall debt, because that's a big problem that a lot of us have, is this debt problem. And debt is one of those types of things that when you have debt, it takes away from your income. All of your income is going toward your debt, and you don't have anything left over for investments for yourself. So we want to take a look at the debt picture and start to attack it in the most vicious way. We want to go into that debt and start to clear it up as fast as we possibly can. People say, okay, so what is the best way to pay off debt? In my opinion, the best way to pay off debt is to pay it off. There are some different methods to paying off debt. Some people like the idea of saying, hey, I'm going to start off with the smallest bill that I have, regardless of the interest rate, and I'm going to pay that off first. to start gaining some confidence. And then others say, you know what, I'm going to take the biggest interest bill that I have and I'm going to start attacking that first. That way I can start to pay that interest off, the bill with the biggest interest rate, pay that off first. And then when they finish paying off that bill, they take that money and they move it to the next bill and just continue to pay those bills off, kind of a snowball effect. The idea is to identify what bills you have and get them paid off as quickly as possible. And what is the purpose? Why would you want to clean up your debt? Well, we want to free up your income. Right now, your income is a slave to the debt that you have. So we want to free up that income and allow for you to be able to do the things that you want to do with your income instead of having to spend it on bills. Now you can take that income and start to invest that income, or you can start to get your savings together. That's probably the first thing that we're going to do, is to get an emergency fund in place. And then you can, after you get that emergency fund in place, you can take a look at it and say, hey, you know what? I want to have X amount of dollars for a vacation fund. Or you may say, I want to start now investing in my 401k plan, or I want to increase my investments in my 401k plan. Or you might say, hey, I want to start a Roth IRA right now. You know, so it's some different things that you can do once you free up the income. Now that we've started to organize our finances and also take a look at our debt picture and start to solve the problems with our debt to get out of debt, what we want to take a look at also is our overall net worth. When we're talking about net worth, we're talking all of our assets minus all of our liabilities will give us our bottom line net worth. And that is a very important number. We want to know what that number is. Most people have no idea what their net worth is. And a lot of people are in negative net worth. They have more liabilities than they do assets, so they're minus $10,000 or minus $20,000. They're not on the positive side yet. But what we want to do is to understand what that number is. Hey, what is my net worth? Because I know, once I know it, then I can do something to change it. So our net worth is a good indicator of our overall wealth, health. So we want to make sure our health, as far as our wealth, is in good shape. So we want to take a look at that number and then look to increase that number. Come up in your mind, what do you want your net worth to be? Do you want to shoot for a net worth of $100,000? You want $200,000, $500,000, $1 million? What do you want that number to be? Put that in your mind. In quick summary, we just talked about 3 practical steps that we're going to start taking to move us toward financial freedom. Number 1, we talked about organizing our finances, getting it so that we can see our entire financial picture. And we're going to use an app called a Mint app, or whatever app that you may be already using, financial app, any app that you're using that allows for you to see the entire financial picture in one place. And then the second thing that we talked about was getting a good picture of our overall debt so that we can see the debt, and then we can go ahead and start paying that debt off, attacking it little by little and pay it off and get rid of it so we can take our power back, take our control back. Now we have the power and control of our own money. And then the third thing that we said that we would do is to go ahead and start dialing in on what our net worth is, because we realize how important the overall net worth is to our financial health. We're going to start to take a look at what that number is and put in our mind how we want to move that number. Do we want to move it to $100,000, $200,000, $1 million, whatever we want our net worth to be? We're going to put that number in our mind. So
please like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss anything.
Let's continue to get more and more intelligent, more savvy about our money by having open conversations about money. So until the next time, see you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.